I think I kind of identified like what I want to do in a very young age, but it was nursing.
Okay, interesting.
So
Okay.
my parents, being traditional, they
Sure.
wanted me to be a doctor, and that's not something that I really wanted to do.
Sure.
So, and of course, when I started my journey, you were one of the first lecturers.
Glad you still remember, right?
101,
Yeah,
yes.
of course, psychology
we
101,
all come
all
for
of them,
Dr. Go's classes because we just found you so charismatic, right?
Thank you very much. I'm glad you still remember.
Yes, we do. I remember the class, but my chairman at that point and even my founder, Dr. Hartini, they kind of encouraged me and they said, when you become the leader of the organization, you are actually helping more. The impact is bigger. Your decisions will create a bigger impact. You're not just like last time, it's just one client you're taking care of or 10 clients, right? Now it's like you're going to take care of like hundreds of children. I was like, okay, I didn't. So when I came back, and the reason why I came back to Malaysia is I felt that I really wanted to serve Malaysia. And I feel no matter what, mostly adults to say, oh, it's better for you to migrate. Even my parents telling me, why not migrate? You'll be more valued there. There's nothing like home. And I believe that wherever you water the grass, it will be greener there. Right?
Wonderful.
Yeah, so...
That's a lovely saying.
Yeah, so that's how...
Welcome everybody to this edition of Let's Talk podcast, and we are joined this afternoon by a very special guest, one of our Help University alumni from the psychology program, Ms. Ananti Rajasingam, who is the CEO for YAYASAN Chaokit. And we are really excited to have you here. Thank you so much, Ananti, for taking time.
Thank you, Dr. Go.
Because I think we've got a lot of very exciting things to discuss with you. Since you have moved on from Help, a lot of really impactful work you've done in the Malaysian community. So let's get started. Right?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about Yayasan Chaokit, the organization that you're CEO of.
Okay, so basically YAYASAN Chow is a child rights and child protection organization in Kuala Lumpur. The name, of course, YAYASAN means foundation. Chaokit is a neighborhood in KL. Chaokit is known as a very notorious neighborhood, and of course now the government has beautified it a little bit, but there are a lot of deep-rooted issues, especially affecting children. And a lot of these kids come from like lower income backgrounds. They live in very small homes that don't have any like facilities, or there's no internet. They don't even have TV, although we are at a very new age, right? So most of these kids, if there's no safe spaces for them, they end up just hanging out on the streets. And once they're on the streets, they are highly vulnerable. People take advantage of them, exploitation, child labor, and all the whole works, right? So that's why we created safe space in Chaokit to just give children the space to come and play and be. Yeah. So that was how it started, and then we started evolving. So from year 2007, the organization was founded by Dr. Hartini Zainuddin. And then we started evolving by putting in like programs, understanding what the community needs, and designing the programs based on the children's participation. So all the programs that we run are what the children like, because that's the only way to encourage them to come to the center. The other part, or the heart of the organization, is our social work. We currently have about 8 social workers. And all the social workers look into like the basic needs that are not met, and the social workers will then reach to the child's needs. So it is very important, because people say that education is a tool to change the cycle of poverty, but it's just not education. It's actually the overall well-being of a child. So that's where the organization's strength is. We also launched like safe home. We call it a transitional home or a safe home for children who are very high risk. So if they've been abandoned, abused, traffic victims and all, we place them. It's not in Chaokit, of course, because it's a hidden neighborhood, or the home is hidden in a neighborhood. So the children who are referred to us are usually like by UNHCR or the government JKM, social welfare, and we have like interventions for them to heal from their trauma. So it's like sort of like trauma care, and the plan for the safe home is to have a long-term exit. So we don't believe in institutionalizing children. That's why we want the children to be repatriated to a safe family member, or to the community, or foster care or adoption. So as long they move out from the safe home, the turnover rate is there, then we are successful basically. So
wonderful.
Yes.
I take it for the Same Home initiative, these are for children who may be maybe subject to abuse in
Yes.
their family environment, domestic abuse, that kind of thing.
Yes, correct.
And so providing them a safe space where they can then eventually transition
Yes.
to a more stable home environment.
Correct, that's right.
Currently, I mean, Yayasan Chaokit, how many children or families are you, serving
Supporting.
at this age?
At this point, about 190 children.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is just the children come on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and then their families, of course, each family unit, because the KL center is for 7 to 18 years old. So they will have younger siblings, and also when we look at the child and we support them, it's just not supporting them alone. We have to go and do home visit, see the family situation. Sometimes the single parents, there are a lot of single parents in Chaokit, or parents have a medical issue where they can't work. So there's kind of multiple factors of why they are in such a situation. So we have to help everyone in the family as well.
That's amazing. So I think first, before we continue to interview, I just want to just say how I think proud we are, Help University, of the amazing work you and your team are doing. It's very much, I think, in line with the mission statement Help has, which is to help people succeed in life and live a life of significance. And it's very gratifying, I think, as a university when we see alumni and graduates who have themselves grown and benefited from education go on and be an incredible blessing for a much wider community. So I think that's why today's interview is special, Ananti, to come and hear your story that hopefully will inspire a new generation of Help alumni and graduates to also go out and have an impact on their community. So with that in mind, maybe you can walk us through what was your own thought process and personal journey that led you to make a decision to be involved with this kind of community outreach,
Right.
to choose the path of social work and to contribute to the country in this way.
I think I kind of identified what I want to do in a very young age, but it was nursing.
Okay, interesting.
So
Okay.
my parents, being traditional, they
Sure.
wanted me to be a doctor, and that is not something that I really wanted to do.
Sure.
So that's when my dad brought me to Help,
Yeah.
and we spoke to a career counselor. And,
Sure.
and at that point, I think I was not introduced to psychology yet. So I joined the matriculation program,
Yeah.
and it was more focused on business,
Okay.
but I'm not a good accounts person. So one of the subjects was accounts.
Sure.
And I was just failing miserably.
Sure.
So I went back and told my dad, I just can't do this. There's something else. My calling is very, very real, and I know that I love helping people. So I spoke to a career counselor, and then they spoke about psychology. And at that point, I was still very new. I never heard of this word psychology. So I was just reading up about it, and they went through the process, during the career counseling. And I was like, wow, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I decided, but I had no idea where psychology will take me, or what kind of career path I'm going to look forward to. But just the subjects and the topics and the content was something very intriguing. And of course, when I started my journey, you were one of the first lecturers.
I'm glad you still remember, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, Psychology
we all
101,
come
all
for
of them,
Dr.
right?
Ghost's classes because we just found you so charismatic, right?
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you still remember.
Yes, we do. I remember the classroom. We used to lecture us in this auditorium.
Yeah.
So
I remember
I
those.
think most of my peers at the time, everyone will never skip Dr. Ghost's classes.
I'm glad, man, you didn't skip my classes. Skip my
Yes.
classes.
So from there, psychology was something very, very interesting and kind of aligned with my own personal values. And it was more understanding, the theories taught me why people behave the way they do. Sometimes we are people who are highly empaths, right? They always give excuse for everybody, right? So all the theories or whatever I was learning in psychology kind of told me, oh, this is why. So it kind of gave me factual scientific justification. Yeah, and that just grew in me. And my first year, of course, when I was learning psychology 101, everything I'll go and talk to my family about it. I was just so excited. There's so many things that it's oh my God, suddenly I have this aha moment. Now I know the answer why. Yeah, so that's how the passion started. And of course, most of the lecturers, I remember quite a few lecturers, we had Miss Winnie, research methods. She was like really strict, but I believe the way she did things, the structure she had, kind of like created a lot of value, a new value in me, how to be structured, how to be timely.
Organized.
Organized, yes. And those kind of things are the things I am still carrying now with me. So yeah, that was my first journey out of my memory, in Health University.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so it's quite interesting that as you learn more about psychology, understanding people, eventually that led you through the path to wanting to be in an organization that serves people. I know you spent some time in Australia. You were serving there in rehab counselling, I believe. When you came back to Malaysia, maybe talk us through firstly, why did you decide to come back to Malaysia, and why Yayasan Chaokit?
Right. Okay. So when I was doing my masters in Australia, there were a lot of different internships that I had to do, and at that time I was thinking, my point to do rehab counselling was to work in the workers' compensation scheme, because that is one of like a big thing in Australia. But as I did my internships, I did my internship in a prison, I did my internship with children with disabilities, and then suddenly, like after working with children, I felt like, oh my god, that is exactly what I want to do. So I knew that children they are very naive, and it's easier to mold young children because their worldview has not been
open-minded.
Yes, they've not been programmed, or they don't have worldviews yet. So it's building, right? So with the more nurturing and all, you actually can create a different positive world for children. So when I came back, and the reason why I came back to Malaysia is I felt that I really wanted to serve Malaysia, and I feel no matter what, mostly adults will say, oh, it's better for you to migrate. Even my parents telling me, why not migrate? You'll be more valued there. There's nothing like home. And I believe that wherever you water the grass, it will be greener there. Right?
Wonderful.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that's a lovely saying.
Yeah, so that's how I came back. And I was just randomly... At that point, I didn't know about the NGO scenes in Malaysia. I was still very, very fresh, very young, very new. And I just applied. I just went on, I think, Job Street or Google or something, Google for jobs. So there was a lot of job openings in UN, international organizations and all that. And there was this NGO called Nur Salam. And I just applied for it, right? And I remember walking in. So I did get a few interviews. And when I walked into Nur Salam, it was a very, the environment was not like what I expected. And anyway, at that point, I didn't know what to expect also. So I don't know why I said it was not. But I walked in, I was like, oh, okay, this looks interesting because I see children there. And then they were asking me, and the position was for social work. So I'm not a trained social worker. And I was like, I just told them honestly, I got no experience in social work. My background is mental health. Maybe I might be useful, but otherwise, if you think it's not suitable for the position, then you don't have to select me. And then I kind of finished my interview, walked out, and at that point, I didn't meet the founder, Dr. Hartini, so I didn't know who she was, and I was very naive myself. And then I got the job. So when I got the job and I started working,
this was in
2009.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started, so I got the job as a social worker, and Dr. Hartini was the person shadowing me. Oh my God, Dr. Go, it was a mess because she is the kind of person, she's very hands-on. She'll just take me to the hospital, take me to the court, and she's like, okay, this is your
really
client.
Good exposure, you saw everything.
Yeah, and I no one taught me the theories. No one told me oh, you go to hospital, you have to meet this doctor, you have to do this, and the process is nothing. She'll just take me there and just dump me. And she'll be you go and handle that, I will go and handle
D-band, throw you on the D-band.
So whether it's child sexual abuse cases, court cases, a lot of things were, at that time, a lot of court cases. And I was like, oh boy, okay. Then I'm just going to build rapport with the family, with the child. And yeah, so that's how I learned social work. So it was like a new university, this place. And then I realized there was no proper system in place. It was a very fresh organization. I think that time I was 2 years old. Their social work department was quite new. Everyone was writing on pieces of paper, data of children, information of children and all that. Everything is on pieces of paper, putting in physical files. So I think that's where I got my structure skills, right? To put
so all the things you learn in help about being organized and structured and systematic.
Yes. Yeah.
and organizing information
Yes,
was
that's
beneficial?
right. But at that time, I didn't think about it that way. It became like an innate thing. And so that's why I started putting a system for the social work. And that's the history of how I started my journey here with YAYASAN Chow.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ananti. So we're going to take a short break, all right? And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about your leadership growth and journey here in YAYASAN Chow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So welcome back to our Let's Talk podcast in Help University. We are here with our special guest, Ananti Rajasingam from YAYASAN Chow. Now, we've talked before the break about your journey, coming back to Malaysia, wanting to serve Malaysia. I think that's really good message, especially with National Day coming.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't think.
You know, the love for country and the fact that you're right, while many people talk about migration and going to other countries, it's wonderful to hear of graduates decide to come back to serve the nation. And we certainly need more, I think, people like you coming back with a love of country and wanting to have an impact on the Malaysian community. Now let's talk a bit about your journey as a leader, right? Because you've been with YAYASAN Chow for about 17 years now, and I believe for the last 7 years as the CEO for YAYASAN Chow. So talk us through a bit about what that journey means as you started as a social worker and then became a leader. What were some of the learnings as a leader in an NGO in Malaysia?
Right. I didn't just jump from a social worker straight into a CEO. There was different promotions, right? From a social worker, I became the head of social work because I was putting in the systems for the social work team. And then at that point, there was 2 centers. So after I began the social work, I think it was the board who told I can become a manager instead. So at that point I was doing a manager job as well as a head of social work job. I always carried 2 dual roles lah. And then when the COO at that time left, I was just thrown into the CEO position. And honestly, Dr. Go, at that time I didn't know what is a CEO. I was Googling because I believe that when I started working as a social worker, I did not foresee I'm working because I want a promotion or this is what my objective is in life. I guess when you're in the service line, right, my objective was just to help children and to serve children and to make their lives better. So it was, I guess, the ownership, I didn't just go to work looking at my JD and say I will only follow this JD. It was doing more than that because my life purpose aligned a lot with the work I was doing, which is serving. And of course, the structure that I learned in Help University and during my academic years, gave me the skills to start systems, right? So all that was done without anybody asking me to do it. And I guess by luck or by chance, the board saw it. And then maybe at that point they said, here's a leader, so let's see where she's going. And I got promoted very easily. So that's how then I became the CEO. Of course, when you become a CEO or now CEO, right, your responsibilities increase a tenfold.
Absolutely.
I used to work with children, so my direct clients are children, and then suddenly you have to work
now
with
you're working with adults, which
Yeah.
are more difficult than children.
And it was very hard for me to make the decision to accept the role because I couldn't let go of working with children. There was too much attachment, and I was so scared I might lose myself by being attached to children and then not being able to work with them directly, right? But my chairman at that point and even my founder, Dr. Hartini, they kind of encouraged me and they said, when you become the leader of the organization, you are actually helping more. The impact is bigger. Your decisions will create a bigger impact. You're not just last time, it's just one client you're taking care of or 10 clients, right? Now it's you're going to take care of hundreds of children. I was okay, I didn't see it that way, but let me take on the role. So I guess I also was very resilient, and there were a lot of challenges. No one taught me how to be a CEO. No one taught me how to be a CEO. Fundraising, because once you become a CEO, you have to be
a big
in
responsibility,
charge. Correct. Not just of your children, but also the staffing salaries, the operational costs, and all that. So, but I guess I just with whatever skills and knowledge I knew, and I researched a lot. I watched a lot of podcasts, how to do things, how to do fundraising. I look at Dr. Tini, how she does it, and eventually just learn the skills. So it was me being very open and not continuing always being nervous. Because initially I was very nervous. But I guess good leaders were also supporting me as, how to say, they were not training me, but they were just there to say, Anna, go, you can do it, you can do it.
Supporting you, encouraging
yeah, it was more like
you.
support, right?
Yeah.
But it was a very lonely journey, and leadership is always a lonely journey. So sometimes you're just like struggling by yourself. You don't know whether what you're doing is right. You're just testing the waters, testing new things out and all that. But I guess being resilient is a very important skill to have, so that you don't just like quit. And because I have a lot of colleagues who couldn't take the pressure, and they left the organization and moved to other organizations and all, and they know, and they always, when they meet me, they're like, Anna, how come you're still here? Huh? Not bad, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm like a cockroach, learn how to be resilient. Yeah, so.
No, that's a wonderful story, and I think it resonates because a lot of times the best leaders, Ananti, are the reluctant leaders. They are not people who purposely seek out power or status or leadership roles. The best leaders usually are the people who don't want to be leaders. And I think that's probably what the board saw, that it's not the ambitious people, but the people who really love the work, who care about the organization, in your case, care about the children that you're serving. And those are the people who make the best leaders, and that's probably part of the success, That's probably the key part of your success, that it was not something you were seeking, but it was something that you were open to because you wanted to serve the community, serve the organization, serve the children. And I think you see it the world over. The people who are looking at the needs of others, as opposed to, I want to be the leader because of me, are usually the ones that makes the best leaders, especially in, I think, a community organization and an NGO. You mentioned that it's a lonely task sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of burdens, a lot of stress. So tell us a little bit more about the resilience you talk about. What do you think is the secret to you building the resilience? Is there anything you've learned from psychology that perhaps helped you, in your journey to be resilient as a leader?
Right. I think definitely something in psychology kind of gave me that knowledge, because when I was in school time, primary and secondary school, I was very much a follower. I used to be a very timid person. When I came to Help Institute, I guess also being with different students from different ethnics and different backgrounds, and it was like a very open world, right? And was very resourceful and all that. That's where like I learned a lot. I learned a lot of things, like not just to follow, always conform to society. There are a lot of things that I was going against my own upbringing values. Yeah, and it kind of like this critical thinking, don't just limit your. I remember lecturers I remember school time, whenever we ask question, our teachers would be like, oh, don't ask question, you think you're so clever. But when we came to Help University, I had one of the lecturers who told me, like, no question is a stupid question.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, are you sure? Because, before that we are so timid to ask questions. And then when the lecturer said that, it kind of gave us courage to speak up, to actually ask when we are. And sometimes the question is very relevant. If you don't clarify it, you won't have the answer. And those days, Google and all was not like the in thing.
Didn't exist. No Gen AI or ChatGPT.
No, we are still C++ learning how to do programming. I'm like, oh my God, what is programming, right?
Sure.
So kind of learning things as we go and having this very open mind to learning. Those are a lot of things. Those are kind of things that I learned during my university days, and which I'm very grateful because I'm still carrying it with me.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I guess being resilient is a lot of your mental capacity. So if you don't open up your mind to learn and grow and to be mindful, all those things, you might not have heard it in your schooling days, as in your primary or secondary school. But these are kind of things now, it's a very important tool. Being mindful, being able to grasp what is around you, learning from other leaders, and that's why you mentioned, like, if you have a passion to serve, you make a better leader. At that point, I was looking like, oh wow, all these leaders are like politicians and people who are like money driven. That was leadership to me, and that's why I didn't want to be a leader. I didn't want to be that. But now when you told me, I'm like, wow, I'm still sitting for your lecture, I guess, and learning.
We never stop learning, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I guess, as college students, you need to have a very open mind to learning, and you need to be very thirsty to learn. Yeah, yeah, and do lots of reflections. Reflections is something I learned from hell. Some of my lecturers, like after we have the theory, then they'll be like, okay, now take your book bag and write a reflection, and then we'll discuss about it the next time. And of course, at that time, we all want to show off our reflections because we think one is better, or some won't even share their reflections because it's too personal. But having reflections was something that until today I do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
No, that's really so important. I remember, in help, it's something we encourage all of our university students to do, which is just the discipline and the practice and the habit of reflecting. And that's part of mindfulness as well, right? Thinking, reflecting on where I am, who I am as a person, where I've come from, what are the challenges ahead, where do I want to go in life? It's getting clarity, right? Of purpose for my life, but also vulnerability about what do I need, where are weaknesses I need to develop in my life, what kind of support structures. Earlier on, Ananti, you also mentioned having the support of other leaders, right? Dr. Tini, your board members, other social workers, friends, family members, as a support network to build resilience as well. Because we're not on the journey ourselves, and having a strong social support network is important. So a lot of really good lessons I think we are learning from you, Ananti, about how to not just survive, but thrive in a very challenging work environment. Right? So maybe you can also share, as the CEO of a community organization here, what are some of perhaps the more difficult challenges you experience, and moving forward, how can society, the listeners out there, it could be current students, it could be alumni, it could be faculty members, how can we support an organization like YAYASAN Chaokit? So what are some of the challenges you're facing, and how can we be of help?
Okay. So I guess the challenges, the biggest challenges that we face is although I've started in 2009, the issues of children are still there. You might think that, now with so many NGOs, the issues will slowly kind of reduce or something. But because of the economy, inflation, even the pandemic hit, when the pandemic hit, it just changed the whole of Malaysia. There are the good parts of it, but people who were struggling started struggling even worse, right? So, but there are not enough awareness about these issues. So whenever I talk to corporate bodies, right, or even my peers who are working in corporate, for them it's they just go to work, it's just their own family, they're taking care of the the welfare of their family, which is a normal human behavior. But knowing all these issues is very important, because it is in your own homeland. So there are sometimes also we talk about refugees, or we support stateless children, refugees. For us, we look at the child as a child first. But because sometimes when political will and all, they say the negative things, and then every Malaysian will I don't support refugees. I'm it becomes a I society kind of thing. It is very wrong, because when you work together, you live together, and you create a healthy ecosystem, every human being will be dignified. Every child in the country deserves to thrive. It's not survive. It's not yes, I have food to eat, or someone fed me, or whenever we hear of people helping, right, it's always the feeding kind of mechanism. I've given food to this child, but that's not enough. How can you help? And you can only do that by actually being mindful, being aware of what the situation that's happening to children in Malaysia. So if I start, it's a very, very long conversation, because I can talk about every issue. I can talk about adoption, baby selling, refugee issues, statelessness, undocumented. The whole, and then you have the lower income population, and the unjust that happens to children everywhere, children falling from buildings, children being left in a van,
neglected.
Every day you're seeing something in the news. And it's not just, people have this thing that it happens only to the lower income children. It's not that, it's every child. So I believe that if child protection can be a national language, that will give Malaysia a better that would give all children in Malaysia a better safety net.
Wonderful. And so I take it, the theme of education, awareness, working to conscientize ourselves to the fact that every child deserves dignity and support and love and opportunity to live a full life. I think that's such a beautiful vision and mission. And so if there are people out there listening to your interview who say, you know what, I'm really excited about the work that Yayasan Chaokit is doing. They're doing important work to support and help marginalized, neglected, forgotten children and their families. What are some practical things, Ananti, that the public can maybe do to support Yayasan Chaokit?
So there are a few ways to support us. Of course, there's two main things. One is money and one is time, right? So money, of course, our organization always does fundraising.
Okay.
To sustain an organization, it takes a lot.
Of course.
For us, annually we need about 5 million.
Okay.
This year, we've raised about 4.3 million already.
They can get some information on the website
Yes,
in terms
everything
of
is
how
on
to
the-
donate.
Correct, yes.
All right.
So we always encourage even like college students or like young working professionals, even if you can subscribe to our monthly Guardian program, where it's like 10 ringgit a day or 5 ringgit a day or 5 ringgit a month or 10 ringgit a month, it has a huge impact on the children or our mission we serve. The other one is volunteerism. Volunteerism, also I need to educate, because when people want to volunteer, we are not like a soup kitchen where we just have volunteer come in and then feed the children and then they go off, right? This is working with young children who come from very difficult homes. So consistency is one of the keys that we need. Otherwise, so again, people's perception, I want to volunteer with the organization, I want to work with the children, I want to be a teacher, so we only don't need teachers, or we don't need people working directly with the children.
Yeah.
That is one option. There are other option which is administrative. So
Okay.
especially if you have a communication skill, or you're very good with AI, or you're
Okay.
very good with social media,
Okay.
there are a lot of things you can do remotely for us as well.
Okay.
So that's why we encourage, and that's why we try to match the volunteers
Okay.
based on their skill and interest.
Okay.
Because we want sustainability of the volunteers as well. We
Wonderful.
want where, like me, when I have my passion, I'm like, every day I wake up, I'm so excited to go to YCK, right? It's the same with our volunteers. We don't want them to come one day and then they feel like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle these children, and then they just leave, because that creates an impact on the children, a negative impact. The children feel like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. That's why they came one day and then they never came back. So there are different fields within the organization that volunteers can support,
Okay.
and is identifying what is it that they are good at and then matching it with the organization's need.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
look, Malaysia out there, I think you've heard the call. A lot of things we can do to support an organization like Yayasan Chaokit. Let's heed the call, and
Thank
see what we can do to grow it in the future. I think you've done a wonderful job, Ananti.
Thank you, Dr.
As a
Goh.
CEO, you and your board and your team, very, very inspiring. And as I've said, part of the podcast is to inspire the next generation of Help University students, whether they are doing business or law or IT or education or communication or psychology, that at least they hear from you. They potentially have a role to play. And all of them can use their talents and their skills to have a huge impact on a community that needs them.
Yes,
Yeah?
that's right.
Now, one of the things we've introduced over the last 3-4 years in Help is something called our 8 Help Graduate Attributes. And it's something that crystallizes what we feel, will prepare Help graduates to go out there and really be, value-add leaders and team members. So there are 8 things, that include digital agility and social intelligence and strategic communication, mental agility, environmental global literacy, moral courage, resilience, wellness, and clarity of purpose. You've had a chance to look through
Yes,
it, So firstly, maybe a general question. As a CEO of Yayasan Chaokit and an NGO, do these 8 graduate attributes resonate with you? Meaning, if you had an interviewer come in, a graduate come in, and you're interviewing them for a job position, are these the kind of traits that you're looking for?
Absolutely. For me,
Wonderful.
as a person who interviews candidates, right?
Yeah.
I look a lot at the person's attitude and characteristic. So yes, of course, we look for the background. Just say if they are social work,
technical skills
the
and all
technical
that,
skills,
yeah.
right? But these are the things you don't really learn from universities, right? And it's very good that you all have introduced this,
Yeah.
because all these 8 topics are something that builds the person's character.
Absolutely.
So for me, I believe, right, if the person comes in with attitude that is very positive, they have, like problem solving skills, and now it's like the AI world, right? But not everybody has common sense sometimes as well.
Yep.
So these are the things that actually
Yep.
will build common sense, will build critical thinking,
Yep.
and that person usually stands out to me.
Yep.
I don't even have to look at their education,
Sure.
because when you have this, you will be able to be more resilient, and you'll be able to thrive as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I think nowadays, we are, most employers are looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just the education
Yeah.
focus only. Yeah.
No, I think that's so important, especially in an AI world, in a YouTube world, in an internet world, that the purpose of education, right, in university, even schools, is not just to download content, because that you can do that from your phone or the internet, but it's really about the transformation and growth that develops the quality of the person,
Yeah.
the personhood, right?
Yeah.
And when you've got a person with these 8 qualities that is able to think, connect, work with people, communicate well, solve problems, project manage, all of the things that you need in YAYASAN Chaokit, I think these are the kind of people that could fit in any industry.
Yes.
So I
They
want to ask
become
you,
an asset actually.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And for the last 40 years, that's what Help University is striving to do, to develop and help students achieve their full potential so that they can go out and really be a asset and a blessing wherever they go. So, do you have a favorite out of the 8? If you had to pick 2 that you feel are the most important, when you're thinking about your own team members or your own leaders,
Yep.
what would they be, Ananti?
For me, definitely it's clarity of purpose.
Okay, why? So why clarity of purpose?
So clarity of purpose, like I mentioned, if you, especially in this line, right, community service, you need to have that purpose. If you don't have that purpose and you're not clear about it, you will leave very, very fast. Or you might feel like burning out very fast and all that. So
Interesting.
Yeah, but most of like the team members who are working with us for like 16 years, 15 years, same time as me, who are stayed on, they found that purpose. And at that point, like if I had this test, I'm like, oh wow, there's a personality testing, right? I only learned about the test many years after, and I was like, oh, let's check out, this personality test for career. And it showed that
you're in the right place.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I knew it then, it would have been easier to argue with my parents, right? So knowing, what you're studying for, and whether it's aligned with what you want to do, because your job is long term, it's forever until like you retire, and it takes most of the time of
Okay.
your living days, right?
Okay.
Dr. Go, I know you're a very hardworking person, always in the office most probably, but as especially young people, when you want to progress in career and all that, you must have that clarity of your purpose to know that this is really what I want to do.
Absolutely.
If not, you will just quit very fast.
So that's number 1.
That's
right?
number
Knowing
1. That's my
what
favorite.
you want to do.
Yeah. I
Number
think
2?
the second would be the mental agility.
Okay.
So having, like I mentioned just now, solving problems,
Okay.
like thinking out of the box, being creative. Also, like time management is very important, which I feel, Dr. Vini, she taught me time management very. She's like one of my gurus in time management.
Wonderful.
And some people take time for granted. But if you don't know how, 2 things in life, if you don't know how to manage your time and you don't know how to manage your money, you will lose out a lot. You can be a very rich person, you don't know how to manage your money.
You lose everything.
You lose everything. If you have, we think that every time, we have a lot of time lah, we can do it tomorrow lah, But if you don't manage your time and plan your day and, do everything, you won't feel like you've achieved. So for me, like when I wake up every day, I have my list. I have like this highlight on my phone. Those are things I have to do. Once I do that, I feel very productive. The rest of the day, I can just, like do anything else. But those are the important things, and that is where time management comes. It's not being punctual alone. There are a lot of things to time management. So I believe people who value their time creates value to everything around them. Yeah.
And it's really managing resources, right?
Yes.
Time is a resource, finance is a resource, our energy is a resource,
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, that HELP's mission statement is to help people live a life of success and significance. I mean, personally, Ananti, how do you define significance in life? What does it mean to find significance in our life?
For me, okay, so every time I guess today I'm now taken aback because I thought the question was going to be about success, right? Because everyone asks you like, what do you
Yes.
think success is,
Yes.
right? For me, significance is finding the purpose. In a human being's life, we all strive to find a purpose, right? That keeps us going daily. That makes us be so excited about every day, about waking up each day. If you don't have that purpose, you just live life very like kind of. You just like, I'm just going to work.
It's just survival mode. Huh?
Yes, you're just going to work to pay your bills, That is not the real reason why we work, right? So, having that purpose is one of the most crucial thing that people, and sometimes you might not find your purpose. You have to keep asking, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Some people, like, they realize their purpose only when they are retiring. Oh my God, like, I want to do this. I want to serve the community. And then, they go and, like Suchi Foundation and all, they have lots of retired volunteers who go and serve their purpose. But when you serve your purpose, you feel everything is very fulfilled and content. And you have a peace of mind. So peace of mind is another significant value that I really strive for. Happiness can change every day, right? One day you're happier, one day you're a little bit less happy. But having a peace of mind where you don't worry, you just, and trusting the process, that's how I spoke to you about wanting to train social workers and place them in different neighborhoods where, every child in Malaysia needs a social worker, needs to have access to a social worker. And you ask me, how am I going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. That's my vision. One day I will get there. So I trust the process. Yeah. And talking about it, being mindful about it daily, that keeps the fire in me, basically.
Wonderful. So purpose and peace of mind. Two key components of significance. And look, your vision and dream to train social workers for the rest of Malaysia, let's make that happen together, right?
Thank you.
We will have a discussion a bit later. Now, I want to end, Ananti, with our original and patented help personhood test that our psychology program we designed, which is designed to help unveil your true self to the world, all right? Okay? So are you ready, Ananti, to be known to the world? Take a deep breath, all right? Ready? Okay, so let's start. What's your favorite dessert?
Tiramisu.
Nice. Football or badminton?
Badminton.
Apples or oranges?
None.
None of them. So what fruit, I should ask?
Local fruits.
Local fruits. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Nasi lemak or roti canai?
Nasi lemak.
What sound makes you happy?
Beach. Waves.
Nice.
Yeah.
What sound makes you sad?
Someone crying.
If you could have coffee, tea with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Wow. Coffee or tea with anyone in the world?
Anybody.
I know it's weird. I don't idolize anyone, so.
It's fine. Anybody. It could be somebody in your family. It could
my
be
father.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. What do you do to de-stress after the day?
I think just sitting down by myself, whether it's reading a book, but I consciously take like a half an hour mindful time. Just being quiet. Yeah.
What is one goal for your personal life, non-work, all right, for yourself this year, 2025?
To be fitter.
All of us have that comment, huh? Describe your perfect holiday.
Of course, by the beach with my family.
Nice. And lastly, how do you want people to remember you?
Someone who's kind.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you,
Ananti,
Dr.
for
Goh.
joining us today. Very inspiring, and we wish you all the best as you continue to try to make a better Malaysia and be a blessing in the lives of so many children and families. Thank you so much,
It's a
Ananti.
pleasure, Dr. Goh. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank
Thanks.
you.